Hi, BookTube. This is Johnny, and I'm sitting in my main study, writing in my November 2017 diary. Today is November the 5th, 2017. I'm on page 996. I'll probably hit 1,000 pages for the year 2017 this week. Of course, I could die. The world could come to an end. There could be the rapture, the second coming of Christ, the battle of Armageddon. But hey, we should be all feel very comfortable knowing that our President Trump is over in Asia and could declare war on North Korea anytime. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, I thought I'd make a video. It is a Sunday afternoon here in West Michigan. Like I said, it's 12:45. Outside, it is cold, foggy, wet, damped, dreary. And yeah, this thing's kind of hot. So yeah, my wife just left to go to Grand Rapids to have lunch with our oldest son and his wife and daughter. I decided to stay home because I don't like driving in bad weather. I get really anxious. And yeah, so I have been, basically what I have been reading since the last video. I'm still reading Schlesinger, the Imperial Historian by Richard Adius. I'm on page 68. I'm at the part in his life where the Second War breaks out and he begins to work for the Office of War Information, which is basically propaganda. So I was reading that and been reading The Lonely City, Adventures in the Art of Being Alone. I've really enjoyed reading this. I've been reading the chapter on Andy Warhol, which has been very enlightening, and I really enjoy. It makes me want to get out my biographies on Andy Warhol and read them, but now I'm going to stay with my to-be read pile. So I've been reading that. Yesterday was a Saturday. Well, yeah, yesterday, what did I read yesterday? Look at my diary, I can't remember. Yesterday was the 4th. I read, I've been reading still Sanctification by Michael Allen. This is New Studies in Dogmatics. It's published by Zondervan. Like I said, I've been reading it. I've read 135 pages. It has about 286 pages. Like I said, I've been kind of disappointed in it because it's just standard Reformed covenantal theology. Nothing groundbreaking. It's just basically, it doesn't do exegesis. He doesn't back up what he says with good biblical exegesis. He just basically takes covenantal theology from the Reformed Puritan kind of perspective and interprets the Bible from that kind of perspective, which I don't agree with. So what else have I been reading? Been reading the Bible. I've been reading the book of Disquiet, a complete edition by Fernando Pessoa. This is translated out of Portuguese by Margaret, Jull, Costa. And I've gone to thrift stores. I got tons of stuff from thrift stores, which I'll show in upcoming videos this week. But one of the things I picked up last night, my wife, I forgot, she did something, and she wanted to go out to Korda's, which is a children's clothing store. She had a $10 coupon, and she wanted to look at some boots for one of our granddaughters, see if they were there and had the right size. And she said, then we could go out for hamburgers. So I went with her, and while we were out, we stopped at 2 thrift stores. One was the Humane Society's thrift store, and I found a bunch of books. And one of the books I found was this book by William Manchester. I showed you just recently. I picked up his memoirs, which was Goodbye Darkness, when he goes the Second World War and his memories of that. And but this is his book by William Manchester, Remembering Kennedy, the one brief shining moment. I've been looking at this last night and this morning about his election to being president, looking at all the photographs, things like that. This was published in 1983, and I also noticed that he's published a book, a history, the death of a president, November 20th to November 25th, 1963. He also wrote a book called Portrait of a President, John F. Kennedy in Profile. So there's Kennedy with Jacqueline. And yeah, you look at Kennedy's presidency and you just compare that to Trump. How the presidency has just slowly become a joke, unfortunately. Well, it wasn't so much, I don't know, I think our last president, Bush, at least he was a decent guy. He might not, maybe did some terrible things, but Trump is just awful. Anyway, I won't go into that. So yeah, I did volunteer at the Book Nook, the library used bookstore, Friday, and these are the books I brought home. For my free book, I brought home Ike, American Hero. This is a biography on Eisenhower, Dwight Eisenhower. It's a brief overview. It's not exhaustive, but I wanted something that was an overview. There's part 4, his White House years, and it's very brief. You can see it covers mostly. Most of it's about his commander in general in the World War II. But I wanted something, I planned to get some other books on Eisenhower. And then I picked up this art book. This is William Turner, who was a painter, a British painter. This is Turner on tour. Apparently he traveled throughout Europe back there in the 19th century, and these are his paintings as he traveled, what he saw. Turner is always my favorite painters, modern painters. So I bought this for $2.50. And then I bought this little novel. This is by Elizabeth Berg. I don't have anything by her. This is her novel, The Year of Pleasures. And the reason why I bought it is I was looking through it. It's about a woman who loses her husband after a very happy marriage. And that's something I think about a lot. Being married a long time to Carol, and what it'd be like to lose her by death, and how would I deal with that? And I'm just kind of curious about this. My wife's been reading it. She says she's really enjoyed reading it. So I got that, Elizabeth. I thought I had other novels by her, but I went to my library, looked on library thing, and I have nothing by her. So I got that. So that's what I've been reading. That's what's going on. Not much else. I got coming in the mail this week the new Reformation commentary on Hebrews and James. Come in the mail Wednesday. Another volume in this series, Reformation Commentary on Scripture. This is on 1 Corinthians. The next one's on Hebrews and James. Hebrews, the Epistle of Hebrews in the New Testament for years, was one of my favorite New Testament books. And then I really got into Romans and Galatians, and I haven't really can say now, right now, today, November the 5th, 2017, if I have any favorite portion of Holy Scripture. There are certain verses I like, or chapters, but I don't really study the Bible like I used to. Years ago, I used to study book by book, or now I just read all over the place. Like, I've been reading that book on, on the doctrine of sanctification. I read things like this, or I read, like, St. John the Cross, St. Mount Carmel, or I'll read something else. I'm thinking about getting a new book on the Sermon on the Mount, which is found in the Gospel of Matthew in the New Testament. I'll probably buy that next cycle of our credit cards. And there's a new book on, I have this guy, I can't remember his name, but I have 2 books by him. And his new book, this New Testament scholar, is on the Sermon on the Mount. I might get that. So that's all going on here in my book world. I noticed we got new subscribers. Some have come and gone. Thank you for the comments. Not much else to say. I don't know today I'm kind of like in a silent mood. I'll probably, after this video, I'll download it and I'll just sit in silence because I'm kind of tired of thinking. I just want to sit in silence. I might read something. I don't know. If I do read anything, it'll probably be the Book of Disquiet. Like I said this morning, I was reading about Kennedy's election. John F. Kennedy. I wish I could remember the day he was assassinated and that whole thing, but I was really young. I think when that all took place, let me see here, I have my time. This is the year I was born, 1952. He was killed in 63. I was 11 years old. Yeah, we were living in Norfolk, Virginia in 63. I was 11 years old. We were living in Blackwater County, Norfolk, Virginia. I was going to a small little school. Because I remember they still had prayer. And I remember we were still had those raids where you'd atomic warfare, and we had to go in the hallways and duck underneath. I remember that, but I don't remember the assassination. I remember most of what I remember is what I've seen in documentaries or in books. So I'll sign off, and I'm hoping you're having a good Sunday and a good week. And until next time, bye.